You have to let people know there's a problem before you can solve it.
We're also talking about making art that's making a difference. Coming up, we're going to meet the woman who started picking up pieces of trash on the beach to create these pieces of art. Her giant sea sculptures are the focus of this morning's KGW Good Energy segment.
Yeah, they are beautiful, but send a message. All right, good morning to you on this Wednesday. And I found it interesting, kind of our morning meeting. Rod had an exact time of when some of that rain was coming in today.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember what I said. Now let's get you to the radar right now. So the cold front itself is coming in about 7 o'clock this morning to Portland and Salem. And it's the rain you see picking up back here that's now hitting the Long Beach Peninsula and starting to move into Longview. So basically increasing showers moving forward soon through mid-morning, and then behind that front we get back to more of just a typical scattered shower pattern this afternoon. So currently Salem and Portland dry, but you can see the rain back to our northwest, and that's what's going to be increasing. So pretty wet overall when the kids are out at the bus stop this morning, about 47 degrees, that's not bad. And then temperatures just kind of hold steady around 46 at noon with scattered showers and 46 with scattered showers, and they get out of school. Don't forget snow levels this afternoon drop below Cascade Passes. Winter weather advisories for the high country have been issued.
All right, Rod, thank you so much. Let's get straight to some news. Getting into our newsroom this morning, Pfizer has announced that early lab tests suggest that its booster may protect against the Omicron variant. The company says the study shows that third dose provides similar protection to 2 doses against the original strain of COVID. It also revealed that just 2 doses of the vaccine may not be enough to protect against Omicron. Pfizer does say these results are preliminary and it has not undergone scientific review.
One of our other top stories this morning is a follow-up to the deadly police shooting that happened on I-5 on Monday. It was a difficult situation for a lot of people, including a man that we talked to who was right there when it happened. And he captured that deadly confrontation with his cell phone camera.
The shooting ended a crime spree all across North and Northeast Portland. Alma McCarty has the update, and we do want to warn you, some of the video you're about to see in this story may be disturbing.
Caught up in traffic Monday morning heading north on I-5, one Portland man didn't expect to see, let alone record, the incident between officers and a supposed carjacking suspect.
Kept an eye on them, and I was wondering what they were doing in the middle of traffic, getting out of their vehicle and parking their vehicle too, in that left lane.
Mark told us while at a standstill, he rolled down his window to see what was going on.
At that point, they were eyeing somebody over in a lane, they're eyeing past my car, but they were kind of setting up to possibly, aim at somebody. They had their guns out, their automatic weapons, and started saying stuff like, "Do you got a line on the guy? Are you going to shoot him?"
He rolled up the window and got out his camera.
And as they started to tell him to stop, he just kept creeping forward. But we were all in traffic. He wasn't getting away, I wouldn't say, but he was definitely moving forward still, not stopping, but only going about 2 or 3 miles an hour. All of a sudden, they started just, shooting into the driver's side window.
Shocked by what he saw, Mark drove off.
At the time, I wasn't that nervous about the whole thing because it was all kind of going so quickly and I wasn't realizing what was going on.
Later that day, he says the gravity of what he witnessed hit him after learning more about the crime spree that led up to the police shooting. According to Portland police, that included a home invasion robbery, multiple armed carjackings, ending with the suspect shooting and injuring a driver on the interstate in an attempt to steal the vehicle.
I started realizing the story and that this guy had been kind of on the run and had, apparently taken this vehicle at gunpoint. And this was his second vehicle or maybe third. Then it really started to hit me. More importantly, that the police were on my right side taking down the perpetrator. And I was really the car. If they were to shoot back, I would have been the car right behind them.
Mark tells me he went home later that day and hugged his family tight, grateful to have solely been a bystander to this dangerous and deadly scene. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
All right, this next story is about Roosevelt High in North Portland. So the school will have extra safety staff on hand this morning after an incident near the school on Tuesday. A student allegedly robbed another student with a weapon, and that sent Roosevelt into lockdown. Nearby Astor Elementary School and George Middle School went into lockout. Police eventually detained the students who were involved. No one was hurt, but the school did acknowledge that the whole ordeal may have been especially difficult for students after last week's school shooting in Michigan. So today, counselors will be available to support those students who need it.
Well, this week we have been talking about teachers and burnout in classrooms, which has been heightened by the pandemic. State education officials say 40 to 50% of teachers leave the profession in just 3 to 5 years. And for teachers of color, the rate is even higher. Many districts are severely understaffed, and the situation is not sustainable. So where do we go from here? Well, we spoke with educators about potential short and long-term solutions.
Reducing the financial barriers that exist so that people can get into education prep programs and graduate without crushing loads of debt. Increasing the supports for our BIPOC educators so that when they graduate and come into our school systems, they don't feel isolated and alone.
We took an in-depth look at teacher burnout on our 6 p.m. show called The Story, so you can find more on KGW.com and on our YouTube channel.
All right, let's go to Salem next. That's where Governor Kate Brown joined city leaders for the opening of a new shelter in what used to be a motel. It's called Arches Inn. The first floor is already done, and the second and third floors should be renovated, we're told, by spring. The first group of people moving in here will be wildfire victims, and they're set to move in next Monday, December 13th. When it's completely finished, it's expected to house 100 people.
I have ADD, ADHD, bipolar, and borderline schizophrenic. On top of that, I got ammonia in my lungs, and I also got cancer in my chest surrounding my heart. So getting into a place like this would be more worth my while.
This shelter is part of a larger plan to create over 700 new shelter beds to get people off the streets of Salem.
All right, let's talk transportation now, because ODOT wants your input on how to spend over $1 billion. That funding will come to the state over the next several years as part of the historic investment in infrastructure passed by Congress. Chris McGinnis shows us.
We are going to be presenting to you information and background on the IIJA.
This is Tuesday's ODOT webinar. It included a varied list of programs slated for a big boost in funding. It'll come from the $1.2 trillion approved by Congress last month as part of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act.
This is really the first time we've seen a major investment in the transportation system by the federal government in several decades.
ODOT will get $1.2 billion of this money over the next 5 years. A sizable chunk of that is already spoken for to fight climate change, improve safety, expand transit options, and repair bridges.
The reality is they're just getting old. The majority of our bridges are over 50 years old, and we're just not able to replace them at the rate we need to.
More than 30% of the funds are considered flexible. It's millions of dollars to be spent for projects shelved for years. Fish and wildlife advocates want Kellogg Creek Dam removed in Milwaukee. It's been unused for decades.
Previously, the lack of funding has delayed its removal. Our hope is that with these additional funds from the IIJA, ODOT will finally be able to remove this barrier to critical fish habitat and build a safer 9-9E bridge.
The mayor of Hood River says the bridge to white salmon needs to be replaced.
The bridge is 100 years old and is critical to the regional infrastructure and is at the very end of its useful life.
The needs, above and beyond general upkeep and maintenance, are as diverse as Oregon's landscape. ODOT is now giving everyone the chance to weigh in on how to spend this flex funding. A series of online open houses and public comment periods kicked off today, and ODOT wants your take.
What are the best places to put these dollars that help us achieve the state's transportation goals, help make Oregon a better place, and improve our economy?
This comment period is open until December 22nd. ODOT expects to have several more over the next 18 months as they scurry to take advantage of this windfall. Chris McGinnis, KGW News.
Chris is going to be here later this morning. We'll talk more about that with him. In the meantime, we want to talk a little snow, because if anybody's going to be driving up to the resort soon, they're going to be happy, Rod.
Yeah, absolutely. We have good travel conditions early this morning, but later this afternoon, the Cascade Passes will be snow covered. And then overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we could actually see some snow cover over Highway 6 and 26 over the Coast Range. So today, snow down to 2,000 feet eventually. Tonight, tomorrow, 1,500 feet, maybe even a little bit lower in spots. Saturday snow level right now looks to be about 4,000 feet. That's the big question mark. Maybe it goes a little bit higher. 4,000 feet is government camp's elevation. And then Sunday, we're back down to 2. All total, 18 inches or more at government camp and 30 inches or maybe more from what starts today through tomorrow at Meadows and Timberline base areas. Mount Hood, Meadows, and Timberline, I would say, are looking at very good possibilities to be starting daily operations a week from this weekend. Not just opening, but staying open. So that's the big change in weather patterns that we're eyeing. Here's government camp. That's fine, 35 degrees. Again, it's the later you wait into the afternoon hours of travel, the better the bet that you'll start to find snow-covered roadways up in the high country. Here's the cold air chute where my green arrows are. The main cold front coming into Portland about 7 o'clock or so this morning. We're starting to see rain pick up to our west. Here it is on radar right now. Already starting to climb over the Coast Range. You folks in Hillsborough will start to get some rain here soon. Futurecast shows that at 7 o'clock this morning. And then behind that, once we get past 9 o'clock, it's just scattered showers the remainder of the day. Early morning numbers for you, not bad. 48 in Portland, but again, colder weather is going to grab that temperature and hold it and actually drop it. So mid-40s this afternoon, 44 tomorrow. And by the way, tonight, tomorrow morning, Friday morning, don't be shocked if you look outside and you go, Mildred, I saw me a snowflake. Could happen.
Mildred doesn't live with me, but Jeff does. I will definitely do that. Rod, you're funny. Thank you. Hey, stay with us. Still to come this morning, we're meeting the artist who started creating these giant sea life sculptures by cleaning up the beaches along the Oregon coast. Her work of art are the inspiration behind this morning's KGW Good Energy segment. Plus, Pfizer and Merck could soon get emergency authorization to use their pills to treat COVID. Coming up after the break, our Verify team looks into whether kids will be eligible to take that medication.